Welcome to the Adult Chair Podcast with Michelle Chalfant, a place to delve into who we are, how we got that way, and explore what it takes to be a healthy grown-up. With an extensive toolbox and guests with varied expertise, Michelle will lead us on a journey to learn what it's like to live authentically and to love ourselves just the way we are. And now, here's Michelle.
Well, hello, everybody. We are at the end of March. I just looked at the calendar. I thought, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I hope you all enjoyed if you were on spring break this month. And some of you probably go around Easter in April, but I had a nice little trip. We went down to Charleston. My younger son, I should say, went off to Punta Cana on his senior trip. And my husband and I took a little trip down to Isle of Palms. You know, that's one of my favorite places down near Charleston. Had a little R&R. Of course, the weather stunk. Of course, the 5 days we're there, the high was 58 degrees, which, yuck. I think it might have hit 60 one of the days. And of course, when we leave, it shoots up to the mid-70s, but it was that darn cold front that came through. So anyway, but it was nice to get away and actually relax just for a few days and just to get away from it all. So we had a lovely time. I hope you all, if you're on spring break in March, had a lovely time. All right, today we were talking about, boy, a topic that comes up all the time, triggers. What do we do when we're triggered, and how do we find relief like immediately? You know me, I like change to happen very, very, very quickly. So today I'm going to talk to you about how we can find quick trigger relief, or what I also would call quick trigger turnaround. So I'll be talking about that in one moment. Despite the fact that it was so freezing cold in Charleston, the good news is spring is finally here. Can you believe it? I'm very excited about that. And also really looking forward to getting back into a routine that empowers me to feel my healthiest. And today's sponsor is helping me do just that. I've talked about them before, but those that are new to the podcast, Care Of is a monthly subscription vitamin service that delivers completely personalized daily vitamin and supplement packs right to your door, which is great for those of us with busy on-the-go lifestyles, just like me. I took their quiz the other day. I'd taken it in the past, and I took it again, and it asked me again all about my diet, health goals, and lifestyle choices. And let me tell you guys, I have some really big goals this year. And one of the goals that I'm doing is several photo shoots, because there's a lot of new content and online things coming out for you. And I'm determined not only to look my best, but also to feel my best and to have a ton of energy. And this quiz literally took me 5 minutes, and it identified what I was lacking in and what my personal scientifically backed vitamin and supplement recommendations were. What I love even more about Care Of is that a portion of every sale goes toward Good Plus Foundation, which provides expectant mothers in need with valuable prenatal vitamins. So today and through the end of March, for my listeners only, Care Of is offering 50% off your first month of personalized vitamins. So go to takecareof.com and enter adult50. And that's takecareof.com and enter the promo code adult50 to get your 50% off your first month of personalized vitamins. Okay. Woo, we've got a lot to cover today. And I just wanted to throw out one more time, because we're getting very close to the cutoff date on this, but the workshop in Nashville, May 4th and 5th, the Adult Chair Weekend Intensive, I'm offering $100 off, and that's going to expire next week. So if you are interested, please go to theadultchair.com/workshop and get on it, people. Come join us. We are very, very close to being sold out of this workshop. So go check it out. We'd love to have you. And of course, just go to theadultchair.com and you can see all the podcasts there and meditations. And of course, our new membership site, which I'm having a blast with. I'm doing weekly videos for everybody that's in there and really doing a lot of teaching. So come on over and join us there. We'd love to have you. Okay, let's talk about quick trigger relief, because that Healthy Relationships podcast, or part 1 and 2, went out a few weeks ago. And some people wrote in and said, oh my gosh, I worked with my mother with this on this podcast, and a lot of people listen to it with a significant other, which is great. And they were saying, how do we get past the triggers? But it's not just inspired from that podcast, but it's just a lot of people come in and say, I don't know how to get out of the trigger. When we get triggered so quickly and we lose ourselves. It's like the trigger happens and it rises up inside of us and we fall back into dream state. And all that we know to do is to defend ourselves. And we think we have to protect ourselves, which is just not true. So I want to remind you again what a trigger is. A trigger is really the byproduct of a shadow belief. So a shadow belief is a belief that got planted deep inside of us, or actually it didn't start there. It started out, something happened in our environment and we then formed a belief around it when we were very young. I have read things that say that most of our shadow beliefs happen 0 to 3. And I'm going to tell you it's at least 0 to 6, or at least 0 to 3, if not 0 to 6, but it's when we're very, very young. Something happens outside of us and that little tiny kid brain of ours forms a belief, and that belief drops into the unconscious mind. And because it's in the unconscious mind, we're unaware of that belief. These beliefs are things like, I'm not good enough, I hate myself, I don't matter, I'm not enough, all those lovely thoughts that we have about ourselves. But these beliefs are sitting very nicely in the unconscious mind, and they're hidden in what we call the shadow. Carl Jung talked about the shadow and shadow work. So what happens is these beliefs are sitting inside of us, and a trigger is when something happens outside of us, whether we witness something, we see something, or someone says something to us, and that belief actually rises up inside of us, and that's what a trigger is, and they don't feel good. Who wants to feel, I hate myself, or I'm not good enough? So what happens is that trigger comes up, we feel terrible, and we very quickly, because this is all happening from the adolescent chair, from that ego perspective, we very quickly go into a defense and try to block and stop what's happening. So that's what happens with a trigger. And in my opinion, a trigger is a gift. I know that sounds insane. I love when I'm triggered, because it's one way, and there are many, we can do hypnosis and other things, but that's one way to find our hidden beliefs, the beliefs that are within us. That's one way to find out what they are. But when we react and defend, it basically is blocking our awareness to our own inner belief. Did you hear me? So instead, the next time you're triggered, I want you to go through this process I'm going to talk to you about right now. Work with that trigger. Okay, here we go. So this is quick trigger relief. So when we're triggered, okay, I'm glad that I really want you to hear what I just said about what a trigger is. It's a wonderful way. It's a gift to find out what a belief that you have or hold about yourself that you do not know. So in knowing what the trigger is and what that belief is, you can then work with that later and start to transform that belief. So what we don't want to do is react, but that's unfortunately what most of us do. So if you feel triggered, if you're sitting with someone or see something, when we're triggered, it throws us into the adolescent chair, and oftentimes right on into fight or flight. And our heart starts racing, our brain starts racing. Unconsciously, we're going into this whole belief, and we really believe that we have to defend ourselves and protect ourselves. So it's not true. What we want to do, because we're thrown in that adolescent chair, is we want to find our way out of the adolescent chair. So if you feel yourself getting triggered, I'm going to invite you to put your feet right on the floor and start to ground. So you just want to intend to open up the bottoms of your feet and focus on the bottom of your feet. You might feel tingling. You'll feel some energy coming up there. We want to get you back to present moment. Take some slow, deep breaths. Really what we want to do is we want to slow everything down, because when we're moving back into the adolescent chair, when we're triggered, everything is speeding up a million miles an hour. So we need to slow down. And get into our adult chair. So if you're sitting with someone or your kid is in a restaurant or you're in a restaurant, your kid is acting out and it's embarrassing and you want to react because you're getting so angry, or your partner says something to you and you want to punch them in the face or you just want to scream at them, I'm going to invite you to walk away. Of course, this is after we slow down. You just want to do your best to slow down. Just consciously say to yourself, I need to slow down. I'm being triggered. What we want to do is wake up out of the dream state, because we're in this dream state, this unconscious state where it's like something happens, boom, I'm triggered, boom, I'm reacting. I have to defend myself. And it's all so fast and it's unconscious as if we're in that dream state. So what we want to do instead is to, and just hearing what I'm saying right now is planting seeds for the future. So instead, what we want to do is slow down and breathe, put your feet on the floor, get really present, feel your butt in the chair if you're sitting, and just notice like, okay, where am I? Here I am. We want to just bring yourself back into the present moment. We want present moment awareness to happen. And if you can slow down and just say, okay, I feel like I want to defend. I feel like I want to scream at this person. I want to yank my baby out of the thing in the restaurant and take them out to the car. Whatever you're thinking, just take a deep breath. Slow down. And when you feel like if you're speaking with someone and they're really triggering you and you feel that it's like a tsunami that's rising up from your belly as it comes up through you, slow down, ask yourself, hold on a second. We want to wake up. And oftentimes I'll say out loud, like, hold on, Michelle, hold on. Let's slow everything down. Wait a minute. Stop. I'm feeling triggered. It's okay. I don't need to work on this right now in this moment. I'm going to shelf what's going on here because so-and-so is talking to me. And I need to remember this is not about me. This is not about me. So relating, I want to just go back to that healthy relationships podcast I did a couple of weeks ago. People wrote in and they said, I read some of this on social media. They were saying, well, what do I do if, the person I'm talking to, they start reacting, or I feel like I want to react? Well, again, one of you needs to be in your adult when you're having a conversation with somebody. If you feel yourself starting to react, you can absolutely say, can we pause this just for a moment? I need to get myself back to center. Walk away, take some deep breaths. And what we want to do is say, okay, so wait a minute. Now what's happening here? My kid's acting out in the restaurant, or so-and-so is saying this to me. It's really triggering me. Okay. We want to work our way back up that scale or that slide. I do this ruler. It's like a big ruler. Think about a big ruler. And what's happening is you're sliding down the ruler, and we want to move you to the other end of that ruler. So you've gone into this really dark place, this negative energy place, negative thought place. How do we move ourselves from that place? We don't need to go to the other extreme. Like I had a client the other day that came in and she says, well, I don't feel like I matter at all, and I hate myself, and all these beliefs. I said, okay, stand on the ruler. So she went down to one side of the room in my office. And I said, how do you feel? And she says, awful. I'm heavy. My chest. Okay. I said, where do you want to go? She says, well, I want to feel like I love myself and I matter. I said, okay, how do we go from that place where you are now to I do matter and I'm lovable and all of these things? And she says, well, I don't know, because it's really hard to make that jump. And it absolutely is. And when we're triggered, it's impossible. And I think it's really hard to do it even if you're not triggered. So what I like to do is walk up the yardstick, walk up the ruler and go, okay, so if I feel like I don't matter right now because so-and-so is triggering me, what's the next thought that I can have that feels a teeny tiny bit better? Let's just pretend like your kid is in a restaurant screaming and embarrassing you. And you're thinking, I am so angry right now. Okay, what's the next thought you can have? Like, I'm totally embarrassed. And then you could say to yourself something like, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever had a screaming kid in a restaurant. Take a deep breath, slow down. Okay, next, I think I'm just going to have to get up and leave, and that's okay. Take a deep breath. Slow it down. So again, we're walking up that scale. So if you feel like I hate myself and you want to get to, a better place. Again, maybe you're not even going to swing all the way to I love myself, but if you feel like I hate myself or I'm a fraud or whatever the belief is, let's use I hate myself. Hate myself. Okay. What's the next teeny tiny thought that I can have that moves me even a little tiny bit? Oh, well, I don't hate myself every single day. Oh, okay. And we want to ask ourselves questions like, is it true that I hate myself every single day, 100% of the time? Well, no, not every single day. Well, when do you like yourself, even a tiny bit? Well, when I'm riding my horse, when I'm with my dog, when I'm with my cat, when I walk in nature. Oh, okay. So there are some times when you don't hate yourself. Yes. Okay. So it's doing self-inquiry to help us to slide. Okay. Well, I guess I like myself sometimes. Okay. What's the next thought after that? Well, it kind of feels good when I'm in nature because I realize I feel like I'm at peace. Oh, so sometimes you're at peace and you like nature. Yeah. So feel that in the body. Remember, everything has to come back through feeling it in the body. What does it feel like in the body? What does it feel like in the body? Okay. So then that helps us to slide up the stick. But again, if you're in the moment and you're feeling triggered, that's difficult to do, no doubt about it. But this is a way, if you walk away and you're triggered, you can certainly have self-dialogue and start working your way up that stick. So, okay, maybe I'm not so bad. Maybe my partner's triggering me right now. You know, my husband just said this to me. He's making me feel like I want to rage all over him. Okay, let me walk away. Okay, what do I know that's true? Well, my husband's being vulnerable and it's triggering me. Okay, what else do I know that's true? I'm realizing this might not be about me. But here's the thing. Sometimes you have to separate ourselves and get clarity and then go back. And then we separate ourselves and we have to go back. But after practicing this, it does get easier. And we start to realize, wow, this isn't really as much about me as I thought. I don't think I need to defend myself. So give yourself some grace and slow down, take a breath, walk away, watch your thoughts, and remember. Triggers are a good thing. They are showing you something that's on the inside that you didn't know before you were triggered. So it's a really good thing. It's a gift. It really is a gift. And in the middle of it, I'm sure you want to punch me in the face hearing that because we don't like being triggered. But when you have an understanding of really what it is, it changes everything. So these are some quick little tips on how we can create some space in between that person or that event. And we got to slow down. Another thing is, take your hand, your whole entire hand, and put it on your forehead as if you're taking someone's temperature. Okay. And then take the other hand and you put it on that little ridge in the back, right above your neck. So one hand goes on your forehead, the other hand goes on the back of your neck. That helps move the energy out of fight or flight and back into the adult chair part of the brain, which is prefrontal cortex. We want to stop the fight or flight in the system. So putting your hand all over, just like you're taking your temperature, or if someone has a fever, on that forehead is really important. There are hundreds of neurovascular points right there on that forehead. It's very powerful just to sit and do that. And again, breathe slowly. The takeaway here is to slow down. That puts you back in your adult. So now, once you're in a different space and place and you're ready to do the work on the triggers and take the deeper dive into discovering what's in that unconscious belief, how do I turn this around and transform this deeper trigger? That I have done on 2 different podcast episodes. Go check out Ending Triggers, which is podcast number 133, or Transforming Triggers, which is podcast number 98. I walk you through how do you work with the unconscious parts and transform them from bringing them from the shadow part of us into the light. So there you have it. These are just some quick little tips on what we do if we are triggered. And remember, if you're having a conversation with someone and they're sharing with you what's going on with them, we want to let what they're saying fly by because they're being vulnerable and they're sharing with us what's going on. Even if they say, well, kind of made me feel bad when this happened. And if we take it personally, there's the trigger. Let their information fly by you. Don't let it land on you. Know that bigger part of all of this is that they're being vulnerable and opening up, which is what we want. So we want to connect with those people on a deeper level. So we got to let what they're saying fly by us. And when we do that, we get triggered less as well. But many of us take what they're saying and we personalize it and make it about us. It's not about us. It's what they're sharing. They're coming from their child. I've got to be in my adult and listen with presence. So there you have it, everybody. This is a little quick trigger relief. It's all about getting back in the present so we can stay in our adult chair and really listen calmly. And then we begin to see right through this whole illusion of what's happening in front of us, and the triggers start to fade. Okay, that's that for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Remember to go to theadultchair.com to get more information on the show or the upcoming workshop or the membership or meditations, whatever you like. And I'll see you here, seated firmly right here next week in the adult chair.